bell ringing happening. The official welcoming for our Tuesday Teatimers. Such a lovely afternoon group we have. Taking a few moments, letting the stimulus of seeing each other and talking and what it's like to talk and listen, and whether we notice mindfulness happening in the background, mindfulness there when we do these daily activities is always a good idea and helpful to notice. Sometimes I have a moment or two when I'm actually mindful of what's coming out of my mouth, or mindful that I'm just open and listening to each other. And now we have that same offering of the inviting of mindfulness to be in this present moment, here where we're sitting. We can settle and allow some of the senses to be aware of our senses. Our buttocks on the cushion or the seat. Our hands wherever they touch. Or our arms laying against our body. Bringing ourselves right here, right now. These circumstances coming together and arising and falling apart moment to moment. In a split second, what we were mindful and aware of is gone, and it's become the past. And the next moment, usually for our purposes, is a very long time compared to the amount of mind moments that can be noticed. But that's okay. We are training our hearts and minds to be present, just present, relaxed, holding ourselves kindly. What does that mean, really? I think of it as settled in the place where I'm sitting and having ease. Maybe I don't really feel that ease, but as soon as I mention to myself settling and easeful, it helps me relax. It helps me notice what tensions might be there, what anxieties might be there, all the busyness that we create for ourselves. Some of it can fall away temporarily to be just here, just now. Attending to what suits our needs best at the time, of noticing the breath and being with the breath, or noticing one of the other senses of hearing or smelling, maybe seeing. Touching is always a present one that's easy to bring us into this moment of our hands resting on our lap or wherever they're resting. And we can be with the breath. Those instructions of Anapanasati Sutta of noticing the length of the breath, various sensations about the breath. And it's not just a cursory, oh yes, that was a short breath, oh yes, this is a long breath. It's really being present with wherever we are aware of the breath, noticing how long the breath is, Noticing what happens in between, if it's an inhale or an exhale. Noticing the start of the next movement of the breath. It never really stops, of course. But there's that space between the inhale and the exhale where the movement is a little different. And so that is a single object of attention, focusing on the breath or the sit point or the touch point of the hands. And that's a place we can go back to help relax the body and help the mind become calmer. breath by breath, moment by moment, reacquainting ourselves to the present. What is the mood of the mind right now? What is the attitude of the heart and mind? Can we stay present? Can we have enough energy to be interested in whatever's arising? It could be tiredness. Sometimes it's pushing away certain thoughts that come into the mind or grasping at other thoughts. It's easy to fall prey of the hindrances of grasping and clinging, aversion, pushing away, wondering why we're sitting here, doubt, or questioning the practice sometimes, or sloth and torpor, restlessness, anxiety. All of these things show their faces. We've seen them before. We can say, oh, hello, old friend, and not put too much time there. As soon as we notice, we're waking up in the present moment, an awakening moment. Beginning again, beginning where we are. Noticing what that moment is like. The feeling tones of pleasant and unpleasant, or maybe we can't tell or don't know, can always be a soft, gentle note of what's arising. And we can stay there and continue on with the next moment. Each moment, something arises, conditions come together. Mindfulness is present and at the fore, and being aware, awareness is there. Noticing perhaps whether whatever arises, if it's a thought form, is skillful or unskillful. Is it useful for our continued awakening? Or is it more of a negative emotion that we can let go of, or it lets go on its own as soon as we start noticing, oh, this isn't really helpful. And we can incline our hearts and minds toward kindness for ourselves and for others, towards some of those mindfulness factors of energy and effort and mindfulness, concentration. Wisdom, compassion. Slowly, slowly, breath by breath, we choose the middle path of not falling into extremes, just seeing clearly what's happening without giving it a perception of noticing that it matches another thought we've had before about this and getting carried away as best we can. We let that go and stay neutral with mindfulness and awareness arising and the wisdom that shows us skillful, unskillful. The wisdom that helps us let go of what's unnecessary or notice that it goes on its own. And stay present for whatever is coming together and falling apart. Whatever is coming together due to conditions and passing away on its own accord as we pay attention. Noticing what's happening in the heart, in the mind. Perhaps the body has stilled some. Maybe the mind is a little calmer. Perhaps we notice restlessness, wondering about things. When is she going to ring the bell? Perhaps some of those hindrances have fallen away as we attend repetitively to the breath or the touch point, or to being present with constantly changing objects that arise and pass away. We're just present with what's happening and noticing what's happening. All kinds of states can be flowing through. There may be tension in the heart or mind. There may be boredom. There may be restlessness. Maybe we can't even tell. Maybe we're sort of falling asleep, but yet again, there's something. It seems sort of pleasant. We can continue to bring ourselves to this moment with interest and investigation, with curiosity, not with any judgment or shame to ourselves, just to be present in this moment and have interest and awareness to help us see the ways that we cling to something as pleasant or unpleasant, how it perhaps causes us discomfort or attachment or clinging or craving. The mind is always looking for some way to satisfy itself. And we include that part of the mind that's thinking, but we also include the other senses to be present, aware of the elements in the body, of the earth, the water, the fire, the air element, helping us to see that this sense of self is not so solid. Everything that's coming together to form who we are sitting here is related to the elements, to nature. It's this natural process of being born and dying in our lives or in this very moment, holding a large open spaciousness for the arising and passing away of everything in our hearts and minds without clinging. And when we feel that draw, feel the need to move or shift our posture or whatever, sometimes it's just a distraction, other times it seems to be a necessity. We just allow mindfulness to be there, awareness to be there of the intention of the movement, where that craving turns into an action. That moment of freedom, of seeing clearly. Once that action happens, we can notice what occurs after that. And all of this is our practice of the Dhamma in our daily life. Training the heart and mind to be aware and mindful in these quiet moments makes a new path in our minds to become more aware in our everyday moments. We can be aware of when we cling and when something goes away, or when we grasp at something and let it go because it's not really fruitful for us. Breath by breath, moment by moment, being kind to ourselves in the present, gently reminding ourselves to begin again or wake up right where we are. And as we regroup from time to time, coming into the present, remembering the feeling of wishing ourselves well. May I abide in well-being. In freedom from affliction. In freedom from hostility or ill will. Noticing sound that arises. We may think of it as pleasant or unpleasant, or maybe it's just sound coming to the ears. May we abide in freedom from ill will. May we abide in freedom from anxiety. May I maintain well-being in myself. May I take care of myself happily. I like to think about what that means sometimes, taking care of myself happily. Issues arise, medical and maybe emotional or psychological. May I maintain well-being in myself. May I take care of myself happily, in freedom from anxiety, freedom from ill will, from hostility and affliction. These reflections on well-being are an invitation to explore these feelings of friendliness that lie at the heart of all of the practice of loving kindness. A friendly feeling, a wish to open the heart. And an easy way to open to that sense of universal well-being. It allows us to ground ourselves in love, a way to help our response to the chaos around us. And that answer always begins with opening the heart. May I abide in well-being. And as unto myself, all beings. May all beings abide in well-being. Freedom from affliction. Freedom from hostility. Freedom from ill will. this universal well-being chant out of the Amaravati and Abhayagiri. They're both in the same lineage chant books. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety. May I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering. May they not be parted from the good fortune they have gained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their actions and inherent its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts they will be the heirs. May we be reminded of letting go of the unskillful, letting go of what causes grasping and clinging in the mind. May we be aware that we are the heirs of our actions, not bringing ill will unto ourselves, as well as others. May all beings everywhere have happiness and the causes of happiness. Anicca vata sankara upadavaya domino upakitawa meruchanti te sam vipasamo sukho. All conditioned things are subject to impermanence. They arise and pass away. And seeing this clearly with mindfulness brings the greatest happiness, which is peace. And may this goodness of our practice benefit all sentient beings. May all beings everywhere benefit from our practice.